Seat yourself. It's It Takes Two with Amy and JJ's favorite segment of the month. We do it twice. We sit down and have a lunchtime conversation with special guests. Or today, we get to enjoy the company of Mr. Rusty Halvorson.
Hello.
And Ryan Janke.
Hello.
A.K.A. the Rust Bucket and the jankiest man on the staff. Our lunch today is Wicked Willie's Seafood Steam Pots to Go. Dave Keller, owner, brought over 2 of these steam pots. And if you've never been there, this is the deal. It's a seafood steam pot. You place your order, you pick it up, you cook it at your own home. And if you don't have a hot plate or anything like that, you can actually borrow a hot plate from them. So he brought 2 of those to our break room. And I have never seen so many of our coworkers lingering in the break room than wondering if they were going to get a chance. So, like,
actually, Joel went through the line before we did.
Yeah. I'm watching Joel Heitkamp take down some king crab over there.
He
There's
was
shrimp
like,
andouille sausage.
I get to go through the line first.
And like,
clearly.
And we just sent Eric Johnson in there. We're like, listen, there's plenty to eat over there. Okay, fellas, I thought that this would be a good way to start off this conversation, which is seafood is clearly something that we're not used to in our neck of the woods, right? Mm-hmm. Like, nobody's bringing in a trawler and then serving fresh lobster. What's that item of food that you like from another part of the country? So, for example, if you went to Philly, you're like, I'm going to eat 9 cheesesteaks while I'm in Philly.
You just call them steak sandwiches.
Steak sandwiches,
Please don't call them a cheesesteak when you get to Philly.
You run out of
you
time.
will get run out of town.
And don't ask them what Wit Whiz is.
Just order it Wit Whiz and walk away.
What's that thing you're eating in another part of the country?
I went to New York City and had they called it a dirty water dog, just a vendor cart hot dog. That was amazing. That's the best hot dog I've ever had in my life.
I've heard them called smog dog, street meat.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty water dog is what sold you, huh?
The Hudson River water, yeah.
There you go.
Scoop it right out of the river. Yeah. What are you putting on top of a hot dog?
Okay, mayo. They put mayo on there. So I went up to the guy, and I had never been to New York City before. So I walk up to the cart, and I said, I want a hot dog. And he says, well, what do you want on it? And I look around and I see there's sauerkraut and there's ketchup, mustard, mayo. Put everything on there. You want everything on this hot dog? I said, yeah, put it all on there. Everything. Yeah, put it all on there. Whatever. He just loads it up. There was mustard, mayo, everything.
And he seemed upset, clearly.
He was a little irritated.
It's like, well, you want the kitchen sink here, bud? You want Pepsi on this as well?
Yep, but it was delicious. That's the best hot dog. It was $2, and I was full when I was done.
Oh, see, and the price is right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rusty, how about you? If you're touring around, what are you going to eat?
Oh, okay, so you're in D.C.
Yeah, okay.
You're looking around Smithsonian. You're looking at the monuments. Go for just a roach coach. They're all good.
Okay.
Yeah, food vendors.
And they are literally bumper
everywhere.
to bumper up and down the street.
Everywhere there. If you're in New Orleans, get a beignet. Yeah.
It's kind of like a donut consistency, but they were served with honey on the side a lot of times.
Powdered sugar. A lot of sugar. A lot of powdered sugar.
Oh, I love a good beignet.
Yep. So those are my on the road, out of town, let's go get one of those kind of eats.
Amy, are you eating anything in
particular?
Oh
my gosh,
when you go
seafood in Baltimore. When I lived in D.C., we would drive up to Baltimore and stop at like these just hole in the walls on the side of the road to get crab cakes the size of your head. And they were amazing. And the places looked like nothing on the outside, but you just got word on the street, like, okay, where do I go? You gotta figure out from the locals where you're gonna go. And the places from the outside don't look like anything to write home about. And then you get in and it's the best crab of your life.
Wow.
Yep.
Love it.
My wife and I went to Baltimore and ate at a Phillips when we were there. And it was on the harbor, like whatever.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know, let's try this place. That was amazing.
Oh, yeah,
that was really good.
Okay.
So good.
I'm a po' boy kind of man. I love when you get down, to the Gulf Coast around there, and they do, a crawfish po' boy or a shrimp po' boy. Those sandwiches. I mean, if you've got 3 of them on the menu, I'll be like, I will have 1 of each, please.
Okay, real talk about this steam pot that we're eating.
Okay.
First of all, I was like, okay, I'm just going to try to get all easy things to eat because I'm pushing buttons back here. I can't be like, but then I grabbed a cob of corn. So I was like,
Okay.
good choice, Amy, on the easy to eat section. But real talk, the shrimp is really good. The sausage is really good. That's all I've tried so far.
Yep.
I've
I've tried the corn. It's good.
There's big like cloves of garlic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you just like eat the clove of garlic kind of guy?
Heck yes.
Yeah.
Are you? Okay, are you
Yeah.
like putting it with like a potato? Or are you just straight up eating the clove of garlic?
Either way, I think that it's,
Really?
I
it's
don't think
delightful. Ryan,
No.
what are you doing?
I'm not
Nope.
either, but
Nope,
I
I'm not
feel
for
like
that.
maybe I should try it.
Is that just for Tabitha? Is it so you're
Yeah.
you're kissable all the time?
Well, that wouldn't make a difference, but
It doesn't even taste overly garlicky.
Sure, probably because it's gone through that steam. I mean, it
It's
was
gone
meant
through
to
the
be,
whole process.
flavor everything else, so it probably makes sense.
But also garlic breath for the rest of the day.
Both Ryan and I grabbed a crawfish. And Rusty
Yep,
too.
I've got one
so
too.
we're all
Oh, yeah.
we're all going to
Yep.
attempt the crawfish, which
My first
Dave Keller said was twist,
twist,
pull apart,
pull. Yep.
suck.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Okay.
The only time I've ever done like a steam pot like this was at a crawfish boil in Washington, D.C. with a bunch of guys from Texas who like this was their thing, right? And they were like, yeah, and I had to sit down and like learn how to eat them. It's some work for a little bit, but they're actually surprisingly pretty good. Like they're just like a salty little snack.
I'm holding mine. I'm thinking of naming it.
Okay.
Aw.
Red. Red
Little
the
red.
crawfish.
Red.
Yes.
The sea provides so many delicious animals, doesn't it? Like, just don't look at it and think of the movie The Little Mermaid at all.
yeah, it looks like it could attack me at any time.
And you know what? Good news. It has not only been taken care of, and it sleeps with the fishes now.
Sleeps with the fishes.
But I also like when you see something that's kind of full. You ever go to some place and they've got a fish, but they leave the head on the fish, like in
Yes.
that part of
Oh
it?
yeah,
I
Yep.
can't do that.
Yeah.
It's one step too far for me when I'm eating.
Yeah.
This is a fun little way to get this experience though without having to know how to do it.
Bingo. A million times over.
You know what I mean? I just it is a little bit of a complicated process to get all of these items. Like, where am I going to get shrimp and crawfish and everything else that's going in? It's all just done. You just pick it up and you just cook it. So that's kind of fun.
Someone says, I'm so jealous of you. Which pot did you get? I want the one with all the stuff in it. Clearly has all the
This
stuff
is
in
all
it.
the stuff.
There's a lot of stuff.
This is the King Triton option.
I don't know which one this is, but it has everything in it.
Yeah.
And you can also make it as spicy as you want. Did anyone add any extra Cajun seasoning to theirs?
I didn't grab any. No, I maybe should have.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're a Cajun seasoning type of guy? Like a little
I
spicy?
like a little extra on there. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think
Yep.
I could even handle more.
Why am
Really?
I the
That's a
only
big deal
one
because I have a very
wearing a
non-spicy.
bib? Everyone else
Abby's
is
wearing-
confident.
Abby's wearing a bib.
Abby Miller's got a bib on too?
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Okay.
I am not confident enough in myself that all this food is going to get to my mouth properly.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, have you ever been at a restaurant where they require you to wear a bib?
No.
No.
I've been once in my life. If you ordered something, they had like a lot of seafood options, but if you ordered the crab or the lobster, they forced you to wear a bib.
Really?
And I was with one person who was so angry they left the restaurant.
Really?
And I said, "What's the problem?"
Yeah.
You
Why
know?
just wear it?
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if like someone was saying like, well, why does the bib have like a little pocket on it? And I'm like, it's to catch the food you drop, and then the end of your meal is the pocket.
Yeah, leftovers.
You know, yeah, like, oh, what's in the pocket? I can have that. I saw that they've included that now with babies. Babies' bibs now have like a little
Mhm.
pocket
Really?
at the
Yeah.
bottom. Yeah.
Yep. We
Yeah.
had little baby Bjorn bibs that had a little pocket at the bottom, and then the kids just stick their little hands in there and pick up what they dropped.
Yeah.
They keep eating.
Little kids, 40-year-old men on the adult
40-year-old
size
men?
ones.
Yeah.
You know, there you go.
Mhm. It is Seat Yourself today. Ryan Janke, Rusty Halvorson, Amy Eiler, JJ Gordon here until 1 o'clock. And we've got a little seafood boil going on that we didn't have to even make ourselves. They came and made it for us, which is so nice.
And here's
in
the
our break
brilliant thing.
room.
If you're going to get this to go for yourself, they hand you the pot, they hand you the instructions. All you have to do is essentially put something in there. I noticed his pro tip, he made this with margarita mix. And then I think that there's maybe a little wine out there, so it wasn't just straight water in there. So
What?
yeah, I think Dave Keller is going to have to tell us the secrets of like what he does to like amp the pot up a little bit.
Yeah,
Wow.
no
Nice.
doubt. This is It Takes Two. You can join the conversation by texting us at 35270. Things that have already happened, unseat yourself. Ryan Janke just became a crawfish fan. He's a fan.
In fact, like the look in his eyes really flashed quite a lot.
That was really good. Wow.
Those are good.
So do you think, is that your first crawfish?
It is. I'm glad I took 2.
It happened right here on the radio.
Right
Congratulations.
Here. Hey,
let's have our first.
Ready?
Yeah.
Our first question. I just pulled it. Actually, our first question I pulled, we already kind of answered, which was like, what was your favorite meal? We kind of already did a meal question. Which American landmark would you most like to see? Maybe one that you haven't seen that you'd like to see.
Oh.
I know right off the bat, I have never actually been to the Grand Canyon.
Oh my gosh,
Really?
that was going to be my answer.
Yeah, really?
I
JJ,
haven't
this
been
is
there.
so
you
weird.
guys.
I've been close so many times, but I've never actually been to the Grand Canyon.
That's so
Really?
funny.
I have.
That was going to be my answer as well,
Really?
because I just did a list. And it's so funny that this question comes up. I just did a list this week of like, okay, what's my bucket list travel for the United States? I think it's so easy to make bucket list travel outside of the United States, but we have really, like, I've never been to the Grand Canyon. I've never been to Yosemite National Park. I've never been to, I mean, I could go through like my whole list, but I mean, not important, but like a lot of the national parks that I haven't been to are on the list. A sand dune, where else did I put? Utah Salt Flats. Like all of these places that I've just never stopped at along the way.
I think it's interesting because there are moments when it's not like I'm avoiding the Grand Canyon. It's not like you've been avoiding the Salt Flats.
No.
But for whatever reason, on whatever trip, you just never end up going to that one particular place. You know, Rusty, you've been all over the place.
Yeah.
What's missing from your list?
Well, what's missing, and the wife and I, Sabrina and I, have seen a lot of national parks because when we started dating, she lived in California, I was here in North Dakota, so that was our thing. When we go on dates, we go to national parks.
Oh, that's an awesome idea.
Crater Lake National Park was on my list. Zion National Park was
Good
on my
ones.
list.
Yep. The one I haven't seen yet is in the movie Close Encounters. Devil's Tower.
Sure.
Yeah.
Made out of mashed potatoes, maybe not.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
This
Haven't seen
means
it.
something.
Yes. So I'd like to check that one out.
Devil's Tower is one of those hikes that I think people, it's very palatable, right? Like you can get right up to the tower pretty easily.
Yep.
Parking's not too far away. And of course, you get great pictures. You instantly, when you see Devil's Tower, you instantly know that is Devil's Tower in Wyoming.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yeah, you can tell.
Ryan Janke, what about you?
You know, the Grand Canyon's a good one. I've never been there. Been to Niagara Falls. That was really fun going there. Been to a lot of places. Death Valley. I think just to experience it would be neat to go to Death Valley.
I've got a lot of friends who went to Joshua Tree National Park, and I found out later it's because a bunch of them wanted to like take peyote and be there. And like,
Oh my gosh.
and I said, "Oh well, I'm glad you didn't invite me on that trip because I would not have been. I would have been the party pooper." Sorry, guys. Yeah, national parks. There's a national parks passport that you can get.
Yes.
Essentially,
Yeah.
that you know,
Yes.
and they do a lot too with if you're in the, I think it was the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, you got a free pass into a lot of national parks. It's a great way to go out and see some of the natural beauty, and then also to see what that state wants to be known for too is an interesting piece.
My friend Paul has a passport and has a lot of the stickers. I can't remember. It's some obscene number. He's well over half, and his goal is to see all of the national parks. It's pretty neat. And now he's got a puzzle, or it's like a puzzle map where you can put all the pieces in of the ones you've been to before. So, yeah, it's pretty neat.
Cool.
I was at Yellowstone and I saw a donkey kick a guy because he was teasing him with a donut. He's like, "You can't have this, donkey. You can't have this." And the donkey full-on kicked the guy and then ate the donut up off the ground. That's my memory of Yellowstone. There's no postcard for that, though.
This is It Takes Two. We've got news next and then more Seat Yourself with Ryan Janke and Rusty Halvorson here on KFGO. Seat Yourself brought to you by the South Fargo Dairy Queen. JJ and I both just went back out for seconds of some seafood, too. We've got a steam pot going in the break room. If people in our office were upset about the broccoli of last week from the microwave, we did an entire seafood steam pot. But Ryan, you say that this is better than the broccoli that happened last week?
I think so, by a long shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
What's our next conversation topic?
Oh gosh, do you want a movie one or not a movie one? I feel like a movie one was just like too easy to pull for JJ Gordon.
Well, I feel like we got two other guys in here who also could enter.
What's the scariest movie of all time?
Oh,
the scariest movie of all time.
I literally think every movie that is even a tiny bit scary is scary. So I'm not qualified to answer this question. I think everything is scary.
Okay.
So interesting enough, I started watching what I consider the scariest movie ever last night.
Okay.
Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, that's.
And I'll tell you why I think it's so scary. Every time they explain some aspect of Hannibal Lecter, it terrifies me. So if you remember from Jonathan Demme's 1991 feature, Silence of the Lambs.
Yes.
Right before they let Jodie Foster into this secure area where he is Dr. Chilton, who's the evil head doctor at the asylum he's at.
Ulterior motives.
He certainly does.
Yes, he does.
He shows Clarice a picture of a nurse that was attacked by Hannibal Lecter. And you never get to see the photo, but he describes some of the things, like they were able to save part of her face, one of her eyes. And then he adds this terrifying note. He goes, because it was in the hospital ward, Lecter's beats per minute never
Heart
went
rate.
above 80.
Yep.
And so this guy is such a cold-blooded killer that even when he's engaging in something like this, he's in total control. That terrifies me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, at the end of the movie, you have that feeling of like, oh, my God,
Yeah.
he could be anywhere.
Right.
Ugh. I find that
Blending
one to
in.
be just – and I know that's not a traditional horror or scary movie, but, like, that one really gets me. And then the Buffalo Bill storyline, I think, is scary. And yeah.
Ryan, how about you?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
Really?
And the reason is because those people could be out there too. Like, where is this guy at?
Right?
And I hope he's not near my house. Or like the Rob Zombie House of a Thousand Corpses. You know, those people that you're like, could this person really be somewhere in central North Dakota? Like
near my lake place when I was growing up, there was an abandoned house, right? Long abandoned. And the fire department decided that the volunteer fire department decided they were going to burn it down and use it as practice. They knew that a local drifter had kind of been staying in there. And so they went in to just make sure that he wasn't in there. In the basement, they found hundreds of animal pelts.
Okay.
And some of them were very house cat-like.
Oh.
And so here's where it gets spooky for me is he wasn't home when they came a knocking.
Yeah.
So where did he end up?
Yeah.
And then there was, of course, the story of he was in the woods behind where our house was. That felt very Texas Chainsaw scary, growing up.
Yep. Those are the ones that get me. The ones that could be real. Like, Chucky, that's not going to scare anybody. Or Nightmare on Elm Street, that's not going to scare anybody.
But the
Speak
ones
for
that
yourself.
have
They're all going to scare me.
Rusty.
Okay. 3 come to mind. One was the name is it escapes me right now, JJ. It's about the girl that levitates on the bed. She's
The Exorcist.
The Exorcist,
Which is based on a true story.
I know, that's why it's really freaky. Okay. And then you've got a movie like Poltergeist.
Yep.
Dead
They're
bodies,
here.
backyard, they're here. So you move into a new home. Okay, what's this? What's buried underneath the home?
Would you like to know an interesting fact from that movie? Those are real skeletons. It was cheaper for them to buy cadaver
Cadavers?
skeletons
Really?
than it was to buy fake ones.
Oh, man.
They did not tell the guy, Coach.
Yeah, Coach.
Yeah,
Yep.
until later on.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 2. Number 3, you mentioned the woods. I didn't think I would be frightened by this movie, but I went to it in the theater, and it did scare me. And it wasn't scared so much in the theater. It was after I got home later. It was the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah.
so I watched that show, and I'm like, this isn't so bad. You're surrounded by the city. But I was house sitting for a friend who lived in the country with trees in the backyard, and I had to go out and feed the birds.
Yeah.
And it was, it was like dawn, very, very early in the morning before work, out there feeding the birds, and I'm looking at those trees, and I'm looking, and I'm thinking, nope, not going to do it. Going back in the house right now. Turn on the lights.
believe that movie's 25 years old this year, and people have compared it to Orson Welles' War of the Worlds, where people legitimately thought that was real. It was one of the first found footage type movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so people were legit, what happened to these people?
Yeah. I was going to ask, did you watch it before or after they came out and said, oh, yeah, this isn't real?
I saw it in the theater, so I can't remember if I was in on it or not. But it was enough to spook me out.
I saw it the day that the news was official that this is not real, and
where it became a news story that do not panic.
Yep. Yeah, and I had already made up my mind. I'm going to go watch it today, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm on my way. And I'm like, what? Okay.
I still have to run through dark areas of my house because I'm afraid of gremlins.
Really?
And I know they're puppets. I've seen them in museums, but something terrifies me and be like, they can only thrive in the dark. So I got to get to an area that's light.
That's a Christmas movie, by the way.
It is. It certainly is.
Do you ever look under your bed wondering if the kid from Pet Sematary is down there?
No.
I never understood why he appeared in that little Lord Fauntleroy outfit, but I also I'm terrified of scalpels because of that movie.
Oh man, that kid.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Gage.
Yeah. What you doing there, Gage?
Amy, there's got to be one movie that sticks out to you as this is the one I was forced to at a sleepover.
I was forced to go to. Well, I wasn't forced, but I feel like all of these people forced me into going to Texas Chainsaw Massacre in college.
When the remake came out.
I literally just put my head in my shirt and I didn't watch any of it. But then the worst part was that later that night, our friends decided to scare all of us, and in the middle of the night, woke us up with a chainsaw outside of our house that we were staying at.
That's a good prank.
Yeah, that is a perfect prank. Perfect prank. Yep.
That doesn't happen in other parts of the country. If you're in downtown Chicago, people are just hey, I got a chainsaw over there.
Let's go do this. Yeah. Yep. So that was enough.
My favorite is when
I'm pretty much scared of every show though.
When someone gets scared and they do this. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
That is absolutely 100% me.
Kind of like the movie Nope.
Oh, yes. Oh. That one's also terrifying to me.
That was a scary one.
Seat yourself with our coworkers, Rusty Halvorson and Ryan Janke here on KFGO, brought to you by the South Fargo Dairy Queens. And lunch took a lot of napkins, I see.
I splattered all over my shirt, too. I'm going to have to change shirts.
Oh,
I might have to bring a Clorox wipe in here and clean your desk.
We had Willie's seafood steam pots to go, and they're in our break room, and I think they're gone by now because the whole building smelled them.
But you know what's in there is there's
good.
gourmet popcorn left because
nice.
You walk in to get your seafood steam pot, but they're also we also have gourmet popcorn. You go, you what? I didn't even know I wanted that, but now I need it.
Okay, I pulled our next question. You ready?
Okay.
What household disaster happened to you? I could go on and on about household disasters in my house. I mean, I've had, if you want to start at the carpet and go to the ceiling, the amount of things I've had to get out of my carpet is absolutely endless. Yeah. I think the most epic was a very large area of diaper cream just completely rubbed into the carpet. That was fancy. Thanks, Lovely. And I've had an explosion in my kitchen with a red wine sauce, which was required repainting the ceiling after that Christmas. We've had fires in our microwaves.
Oh, wow.
I had a fire in my stove, which, pro tip, try sand first, because I did the fire extinguisher, and I think I'm still cleaning that up years later.
Yeah.
That'll get in the nostrils too. And yeah, so they're endless in my house, but any household disasters, water in our basement.
Anybody accidentally use Dawn instead of a dishwashing detergent?
I've never done that.
Yeah,
oh
my roommate
boy,
did.
that was
back in college.
Did you do that?
I did. As a little kid, I was trying to be really nice and be like, look, Mom and Dad, I'm responsible enough for a dog. And then I put an aggressive amount of Dawn in there.
Yep.
And the only way to get that out is to just work it. And so, of course, I start the machine and I walk away, come back. Our entire kitchen is filled with foam.
Oh, yeah. Suds, baby.
And you stop it, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now? And then my dad was like, you just got to let it run. And so we were putting pans and tarps down to catch all the foam and put it. It was I am so afraid of that I will hold the Cascade bottle, but then I'll double check it to make sure this is okay. This is dishwasher detergent. Okay, here we go. How about you, Ryan Janke? I know you've done something.
Well, I've got kids, so there's,
Right.
But I won't call them out. Well, so going to your oven on fire story, I saved us from the fire extinguisher because that was on the list of, we need to get the fire extinguisher. Don't get the fire extinguisher. That's going to be a disaster. So it was bacon. It was making bacon in the oven, and I just removed it and just sort of let it burn out in there. That was good. But what I did once was I burned a candle, and then when the candle was, I blew it out. I was all done with it. And I was moving something. I don't remember what it was, but I knocked it off of the counter on all that wax all over the carpet. That's a disaster.
Yeah, that's bad.
What did you do? Wax paper and an iron?
Yeah.
Just cleaning and cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. It was a mess. Yeah. Disaster.
And life slows down, and you. No.
That was literally everyone's life for a while when we all had those like wax melting pots, and everybody inevitably knocked them over at some point. And was trying to clean that out.
This was on the wall because it was right next to the, it was on the counter, so it was by the wall, so it was all down the wall the carpet. It was I don't know if I've lit a candle since then.
Yeah, that's probably a good plan. Keep him away from candles. Rust bucket?
Well, the suds out of the dishwasher came home from class one day. Roommate, won't name names, Mike. Mike was in the middle of the kitchen, small apartment, and he wedged himself between the fridge and he had his feet and legs up against the dishwasher, trying to keep the suds in. Doesn't work. Now, for me, moved into a place, had a wood-burning fireplace, and I was just jazzed up. All right, we can have fires, and this is going to be great, and I'm going to clean it up, and let's get the dust out so it's perfect for that first one. So I went and got the shop vac, and I'm deep in there, and I'm vacuuming, and I'm getting it just spick and span inside this fireplace. Turned around, for whatever reason, the shop vac was spitting out dust across the entire living room.
Oh,
Had
no.
a layer of dust on everything.
Oh, no.
Everything. My heart sank.
Yeah, I bet. Oh my gosh, this text message in at 35270. Left the paint pan and roller and walked away for a few minutes to find out our 4-year-old took the roller and ran it over the lower kitchen cabinets, including the microwave. The color? Blue.
Oh.
That reminds me of my daughter Haley. When she was little, I don't know what she was thinking. I guess she was just little, but I had just redone this oak table. I had sanded it and stained it and everything. She took a magic marker and drew all of us at the table, like in just a little spot right in front of her. So I was like, she was all sad, and I was like, hey, the table's got character now. We're just going to leave it.
Yeah. Our table has Sharpie on it, thanks to my daughter a couple of weeks ago. Just lean into it.
Yep.
Just lean into it. But I really want to know what you did after the blue paint situation. Like, we're painting the kitchen cabinets? Is there some way to get that paint off of there?
Everything's blue now.
Yep.
Everything is blue.
Just paint it all.
Yeah. Depending on, was it like right down the middle? Because then you just have a racing stripe.
There you go.
Down your,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks. I'm sure that 4-year-old got it really nice and straight too. That's the other thing. So it looks like it could be intentional. I've also heard horror stories of people who leave a paint and roller for like 1 second, and then the dog comes in, takes a step in, and then all of a sudden you're replacing the carpet, not just. Oh boy, no, thank you, no, thank you whatsoever.
Okay, quick. We'll just go through a few of these. What makes a house a home? Oh, that's a cute one to pull after our disaster one. But I would say the people in it, probably.
There you go.
That's easy.
And more
everyone's
blankets.
agreeing.
Yeah.
Good blankets.
What's your favorite app on your phone?
Ooh.
Just Watch. It's where you can put in where you can stream anything.
Oh.
Ooh, that's a
really
good
like
one.
that one. Use it all the
That's a good
time.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm stumped. Maybe the voice memos. That's handy.
That's a good one.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Probably ESPN.
There you go.
There you
I'm
go.
gonna
Why
go
not?
camera. I
Yep.
use that the most.
Oh, yeah.
Which celebrity would you like to see in person?
Tom Hanks.
Mm.
I think we'd be really good friends. If
Okay,
Tom
that's
Hanks
what,
is
that's
listening.
what everyone thinks about the celebrity.
Yeah, but
that they
I
wanna
think
meet.
Tom Hanks and I would be like, I'd talk to him about Diener's Diner and be like, remember when you stopped at Diener's Diner in Fargo, North Dakota?
And
be
he'd
like,
say
oh,
no.
yeah. Yeah, I would. Oh, he'd remember.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
If you guys got any
Dead or
celebrity
alive?
that- yeah, dead or alive. Go ahead.
1969 Elvis Presley.
Nice.
Good pull.
The only one I can
Wow.
think of right now is Jack Nicholson. I just watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So
If you owned quick, we have 30 seconds. If you owned a boat, what name would you choose for it?
Yeah, buoy.
Yeah, buoy.
Uh-huh.
Boy,
That's a good one. I got to think about that one.
I got
I mean,
nothing
I have
creative
a boat,
for that.
but I don't have a creative name for that.
I don't know. Wave Rider. I don't know.
There you
There
go.
you go. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's a good one. I'll go
Someone
Wave
left-
Rider 2.
Nice.
Electric Boogaloo.
Rusty Halvorson and Ryan Janke, thanks for being on Seat Yourself.
Thank you.